Hello?
We're
Hello? Can you
we
hear
are
me?
back. Hey everybody. That was a little bit of a foul. John went in a little bit early, but yeah, we're back with Two Def Podcast, episode 14. We can hear you, John. We hear you so loud and clear.
the call, the call dropped out. Like it dropped the Discord call, and then I was like, well, that's not a good way to start the show.
Oh no, man! You were still here. You were so loud and clear because it was just like in the middle of the intro. It's like, hey, you there?
Well,
It's funny.
I never even heard you say anything about starting. It just the call dropped and it said call failed, so I had to call you back. And then when I called
Oh.
you back, it was automatically right into the show. So I don't know.
It's all right.
Anyways,
We're here
what's
now.
going on, people?
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Sleepwalker, the man who walks through dreams, possibly yours. And as my associate earlier introduced himself, it's John. And we're here to talk about gaming once again at the 2Def Gaming Podcast. What's up, John?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. I've had a pretty good Labor Day weekend. How about you?
It went well, man. We kept it pretty low key. Spent Derby at our friend's house at the pool, and then had a family day on Sunday, and then I went to a cookout at my mom's house yesterday. So it was pretty chill and low key.
Oh, good. I had a barbecue over Kia's house, and her family came over and made an absorbent amount of meat. And now we're still shoveling that meat out today, which I partake in, and I will be excreting later. Oh, we got a passenger.
Yeah, the joys of doing a podcast at home. We're having all kinds of opening drama, aren't we? It's
Uh,
about right.
it's all good. I
So
mean,
anyway, man, what you been playing this week?
I've actually been playing a barrage of games. Been switching from several indie games. I was playing into the Gungeon again. I played Wizard of Legend, and then what was it? I played Doom, but there was a game before that that I was really into before Doom. I can't even remember. It was just like a barrage of games that I was playing all at once because I was kind of bored.
I hear you.
Mm.
Well, I have kind of done something similar. So I've been playing. I still been playing some Mario Odyssey. Still from time to time. I've kind of fell off of it a little bit. But I kind of went out and made a purchase this past week that I didn't think I was going to do
Mm-hmm.
because everybody's been telling me not to do it. But I just had to. But I ended up picking up Madden Football 2021 with Lamar Jackson on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the reason I had to get it is because Lamar Jackson was on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting a lot of hate, man. It really is getting a lot of hate out there. But um, I haven't bought a Madden title since hell, I don't know, 2010 maybe 2008,
Oh, well,
and it's been a long time since I've actually purchased a Madden title, and so I don't really have a lot of comparisons to make to the past Maddens. I keep hearing people say 2020 was one of the best ones ever, and this one sucks, and all this. Um, but just from my perspective, from playing it kind of fresh, I love it. I think it's really cool, man. It's a typical Madden football game. It's just football, but they have like face of the franchise mode now, which is what I've been playing. You start off in high school, and if you do well enough, you get a list of suitors for colleges that you can choose to commit to, and then once you play in college, you play through, win a national championship, and then you get to decide if you want to return for your senior year or if you want to go pro. And then you go pro and you get drafted and you play through the whole basically the whole career of a football player, and it is really cool. It's a kind of a unique take on everything. So it
well,
was definitely interesting, kind of going through that process, kind of like what the high school kids go through.
we're definitely going to be talking about that more in depth later. But I will say, what you did is what somebody would do if they like the last Soul Calibur they played was the first Soul Blade, and then the next Soul Blade game they played was like Soul Calibur 5. They may think it's good, but if they actually played one, two, three, and four before five, they'd be like, "What the hell is this?" Kind of
Right.
thing like that. So you kind of missing out on the steps that would bring you to that. But we'll talk more about that later. Anyways, I just remembered the game that Fall Guys. I finally started playing Fall Guys, and I have to say that game is not about having fun. It's about dominance. It's about like stating your dominance over everybody there. It's a cruel and vicious game in the guise of a very fun childlike experience.
I have not yet played it, so I don't know. I've seen videos of it, and it looks kind of silly. But I hear a lot of people talking very glowingly about it. So,
It's easy to get into. It's fun because it's like you can only jump, dash, and grab. That's it. And they just give you a bunch of mini games, and they throw like 60 people in that are getting knocked off every round and stuff like that. It's kind of like playing Wipeout the game,
okay,
Ninja Warrior or something like that, except not as impressive.
I have to try it out. Is it free, or do you have to pay for it?
Well, it was free when I got it, and it was on the PlayStation Store for their little free thing, and it was free on Steam for a while or the Epic Store. I forget which one. I don't know if it is even on the Xbox. I don't know if people are doing it on there, but I would think it's somewhere around there. Like
I'll definitely have to check it out. I've heard a lot of people who I respect their opinion talking, including yourself, talking really highly of it. So
yeah, it
I
gets
I
addictive.
definitely gonna check it out.
You're competitive. You'd like it.
I think it would. But hey man, so speaking of kind of being competitive, this is we touched over this on the last podcast when we had Vincent with us. But some more stuff has came out since then, and they had the Gamescom awards. Did you get to check it out at all?
Yeah, I did. It was a slog. It was very it was very like it was a
Well,
trial.
I figured you wouldn't like it because it didn't really go your way. The
Nah.
So they had two different categories, at least that I've read, and they had the best of show winners, and then they also had something that it looks like they may have done with IGN about best launch titles of all time.
Okay.
But it's just interesting. I'll go over them real quick. The best of Gamescom was obviously Cyberpunk.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean,
the the
obviously.
best the best trailer got was won by Little Nightmares 2.
I agree. I saw the Little Nightmares 2 trailer, and it does look genuinely terrifying and cute at the same time.
Yeah, it was definitely intriguing for sure.
Yeah.
Um, the best announcement that they made was Unknown 9 Awakening.
I don't remember that. Is it what
I
day
don't
was
remember it either.
what day was I mean, dude, there was a lot of Gamescom and a lot of it was just sifting through bags of crap. So, like,
Yeah, it was weird. But
yeah.
the one that raised my eyebrows is the most wanted hardware
Mhm.
of next year is the Series X, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Nobody wants that clunk of garbage in the PS5. They're all switching.
I mean,
They all
PS5's talking about they're probably not going to have the amount to fill the orders that are coming their way, but that's cool.
no, but I wasn't even going to include that into our notes today, but I saw the Series X one, so
I know.
I had to throw it in
I don't care. I mean, Jeff Keighley don't know what the hell he's talking
there.
about.
But they did have another list. I'm
What
going to
up,
go
Zach?
through them kind of. I'm gonna kind of go through them kind of quickly. What's going on, Zach? I'm telling only the truth. The
Hey, just buy a
so
PC. I agree with you. Just buy a PC. I agree. But go ahead, John.
yeah. So the next thing they had at what they worked with IGN was the best launch titles of all time, and I really thought this was a really interesting topic. Um, we'll just kind of go through them really quickly, and then we can kind of discuss them as we feel needed. For number 10 was for the Game Boy Advance, and it was Castlevania: Circle of the Moon.
Okay. I
It
could
was pretty
dig it.
interesting. I played Castlevania games, but I've never played that.
I could dig it. There was a
Um,
lot on the Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy, 3DS and stuff. They had like a
yeah.
ton of them. They were like Symphony of the Night.
Well, number 9 was Dreamcast. You want to take a
Yeah.
guess of what one?
Was it Soul Calibur?
It was Soul Calibur.
Yeah, yeah. Dreamcast had a dope ass launch, and honestly, I'm surprised it's at 9. Like
I'm kind of surprised at that too.
yeah, I thought it'd be a lot because they had Power Stone in that mug. They had a whole bunch of games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like, oh, like, bruh, like I want to see what 8 is. No, go ahead.
Number 8 is the Nintendo Wii,
Okay,
and it was Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess.
okay. And they had the Wii Bowling, which was probably more successful, honestly.
Well, that's funny because at number 7 is also the Nintendo Wii, and it was Wii Sports.
Yeah, yeah, I could definitely feel that. That was big. Everybody loved that.
Yeah, for sure. So number 6 was the Game Boy, and it was Tetris.
Hmm. Tetris.
Number 5, so rounding into the top 5 here, number 5 was the Super Nintendo, and as you could guess, it was Super Mario World.
Yeah, yeah, that was dope and pretty big at the time.
So number 4 was the Switch, and it was the Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that.
Oh yeah,
That was
in my
awesome.
opinion, it's one of the best games of all time, let alone launch titles.
And
So
as a launch title, it's kind of killing it, dog. There's not many launch titles that come out that hardcore.
right. So for number 3 was the Nintendo 64, and it ended up being Super Mario 64.
Okay, all right. I'm digging this list more than I thought I might.
Yeah, yeah, I was surprisingly impressed too. Number 2 was the Xbox, the original Xbox, and it was Halo Combat Evolved.
Okay.
And then number 1 was actually for the NES, and it was Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers, the no, yeah, I could feel that because I like remember the day my dad brought that home, and he was just so eager to put it in, and so everybody could play it, and even my mom loved playing it. So I could feel that Super Mario Brothers.
Oh yeah, man, it
Uh,
was one of the. Now he got more into Super Mario 3 than any of the other ones, but Super Mario Brothers is one of the only games my dad has ever played.
yeah, Super
So it
Mario
definitely has
Brothers.
that appeal.
Yeah, I could dig that list. That list has, some pretty good launch titles. I'm thinking of other launch titles that are like, but I feel like Power Stone deserves to be on the list because it was great, but I don't know if it's is big enough fan base as like it than it should be. It may have been more of a niche game, but Power Stone was fucking great. Like that was a great ass game, and I would love nothing more for them to say Power Stone 3.
And what system you say?
This was Dreamcast, and it
Oh, Dreamcast.
came out in the launch, and they even had Power Stone 2 and everything like that. And it was just such a great game. Capcom did it, but they just never gone back.
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting. There was a couple systems that they just completely left out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. PlayStation launches have just been pretty booty. Like they've been pretty garbage. I don't think I remember a PlayStation launch besides the PlayStation One, because the thing in that Battle Arena showed Toshinden. But other than that, no, they're pretty booty.
Yo, what's good, Austin, man? Don't worry about Saturday night, brother. It was last second, and it was a busy weekend. But definitely interested in getting out there and checking it out in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, there was some a bunch of news has kind of came out since last time we met. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and hop into some of the stuff you don't care about first. Um, Cold War news. There's been a lot of Cold War leaks come out. So it's come out and shown that there's going to be 10 multiplayer maps on launch, which is actually a pretty big deal. Typically, there's 6. So there's going to be 10 different multiplayer maps, which I'm definitely loving that.
Okay, and this
Looks like
is with the game, right? It's not extra or anything. That's just when the game
right,
drops, the standard edition has that.
right,
Okay,
exactly.
okay, cool.
And it does look like that Nuketown is going to be one of those maps. So that's definitely awesome. I miss me some Nuketown, man.
I even know about Nuketown. I don't even be playing that
It's classic.
game.
So, kind of the bigger news that we've been seeing is that it's reportedly with Cold War, they're going to be going back to a 4 versus 4 format for their multiplayer, which
Okay.
is huge because the Call of Duty League is built around 5 versus 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense of why they want it to go down. Um, you know, maybe 5 versus 5 is harder to follow for the casual fan. So maybe the change to 4 versus 4 makes it more watchable and less chaotic. It's likely some type of PR move. I'm not sure, but
I
that is definitely huge news coming
Yeah, I
out of
feel
Call of
like it's
Duty.
gonna mess with a lot of people's team dynamics, because it used to be on 5. They used to having that fifth man and making those calls with those people. So having 4, they're gonna have to change their strategies completely around. I don't know if that was a move that is more beneficial to the players or the people watching. I don't, but it does seem like a kind of like a sudden move to pull.
Oh man, you can imagine if it was basketball and they switched basketball to 4 versus 4, how much that would kind of throw
Yeah,
a chink
yeah.
in all the chains. Yeah, I'm going to assume that league teams are going to have to start dropping franchise players. They're I don't know how long their contracts are. I'm sure it kind of changes, but you'll likely see a whole lot of movement. There may even be some new teams who are introduced because you're going to have every team in the league dropping at least one player. So,
Yeah.
but there's reportedly a players' association in the works. So
Oh, really?
there's no details that I've gotten on that yet, but I have seen it is reportedly in the works, and that will be huge for gaming in general, for all of esports. There's a player association that will kind of ensure that the players have their proper rights.
Yeah, that's dope because having a union of any kind for yourselves or any organization is going to help people like from the big people to kind of what's it called Pre- predatorize the younger players and stuff like that using things like that, giving them their rights and making sure they're all handled. I think that's great, and it gets more people like a chance to get into the game.
Well, it's interesting to me that the news of a players association being in the works just so happens to be dropped right around the same time that we find out that the COD League is switching it back to 4 versus 4. And I guess it's not really the Call of Duty League doing it; it's Cold War. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, the
So
actual
it's not
game
really
itself.
so it's not really the league that's doing it as much as it is that actual game. So and Austin has a good point too, and potentially they may be making smaller maps to accommodate make 4 versus 4 feel more fluid, but you know for us, with us being in a clan with two deaths and stuff, almost every time that we actually have people on and we're playing, we have too many people to play a regular 5 versus 5 game anyway. So we end up having to go to custom games because we have too many people. So I can only imagine the grief it's going to cause us trying to do 4 versus 4. So
And I remember back in the day, it was during the PS3 era, where people were trying to put like ludicrous amounts of people in a game. Like they were trying to put like 30 on 30 death matches and shit like that. Like,
oh, they still exist.
they
They're
still
still
exist.
real popular. Oh yeah, big team battle and all this other stuff.
Oh,
They're
really? I didn't know. It was like,
ground war is what it's called in Call of Duty.
okay,
It's
cool. Go ahead, go ahead.
it's became its own basically playable option. Just like you can play gunfight or you can play Warzone or whatever. So
Oh, that's dope.
it's
Actually,
it's
because I
it's pretty
remember
fun.
Resistance doing like one of the first people to start doing that, having like ludicrous amounts of people in a death match, and I'm glad that took on because like that's fun to me. Like 30 on 30 sounds crazier than 5 on 5.
Well, and it gets even crazier because they include more power weapons and more vehicles and everything else. So it gets pretty crazy. It's really fun, but it's just chaotic.
Yeah, I love the chaos, bro. That's where I thrive. That's where I was. That's why I was raised.
I like it a lot of the times, but like you said before, I get pretty competitive, so sometimes it gets frustrating.
Yeah, that's why I could see you playing Fall Guys. Go, this little motherfucker just threw me in the water. Like I'm after you, dude with the horse head. I'm after you. Like I can see.
Well, we touched on it a little bit in the opening segment about me playing Madden a lot. I just kind of wanted to kind of revisit that for a second. There's been a huge movement. We're talking about how people have been so unhappy with this new Madden. Is that there's literally a movement that the players are so unhappy with Madden that they're trying to get the NFL to drop EA.
Oh, dude.
So, yeah, they don't want EA because EA is the one who obviously makes Madden, and they have an exclusive contract with the NFL. So now they're wanting to open it up to where other franchises like NFL 2K or NFL Blitz, that's fell by the wayside in the past, that they would be able to come back and start making matchups before. Because I mean, both NFL Blitz and NFL 2K were some of the most awesome games I've ever played.
Yeah.
So
Like
it would definitely.
NFL Blitz was one of those games where like it was kind of arcadey, so even people that weren't really into football could feel a little bit more funner playing blitz and stuff like that because you were just sitting there like actually body slamming people on the field and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can't do any of that. But like
Well,
I think that's made the more enjoyment. And when EA just basically ganked the NFL from everybody, I think that was the biggest dick move.
yeah, I mean, they got that. It happened in 2005 where they inked the exclusive contract with them, and we've only had Madden NFL games since.
Yeah.
But there's quite the movement where some prominent people are hashtagging and getting it trending of NFL drop EA.
Well,
So it
I've
could
been
happen.
looking up on this and stuff like that. And the thing is, I 100% feel him because like check it. In Madden 2020, there was still Madden 2019 logos up in the game.
Right.
They
Right.
just like carbon copied, moved it over. And I looked at a video of all the things they took out up into this game. And it's just like a large number of modes and everything they just took out. And so they've been giving you less game that they've been porting over from like 2018 to 2019, 20 and to 20 in 2021. And everybody noticed it. And EA, like if this was like let's say From Software or CD Projekt Red, people might be like, all right, you guys don't usually do this, but I'm gonna need you to take it out. But since it's EA, people that have done this so many times, you don't it's just like it's just obvious now. Like it's like, bruh, come on now. And I don't think we should stop at the NFL. I think they should also Disney should also take Star Wars from them. Like and honestly, I think we should move from EA go to Konami and take their
Just
franchises.
dissolve EA as a company.
like I don't like listen, like EA is a factory of lies. But like if they could get their act together, that's fine. But the thing is, they've shown you time and time again that they won't because check UFC, right? The new UFC, they they added ads in 2 weeks after the game launched so the reviewers wouldn't catch it.
Well, I have a feeling that it's going to eventually change. I just have that feeling. I don't have any information based on that, but you know, other like Fortnite and games like that, Apex Legends and stuff like that, are showing people that the way and Halo's even picking up on it, according to the rumors, is that there's not going to, they're not going to be continuously dropping new games every year. They're not going to be a Halo 6 or a Halo 7 or a Halo, it's just going to be Halo Infinite, and they're just going to add to it. Just like, with Fortnite, you don't have Fortnite 1, Fortnite 2, this is Fortnite Season
Mm-hmm.
2. And, game people like EA and Madden, and then also Call of Duty is doing the same thing. Every year they're coming out with this new game. So, I mean, you essentially have, just a few months out of that year to truly enjoy that original title. And then the rest of them are all, then you're already gearing up for the next game, essentially.
Yeah.
So, especially with the game like Madden, and I understand. I mean, I get it. There's money to be made. So as long as there's money out there to be made, EA is going to continue to drop a new Madden title and make you pay for a whole new game each year because people are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But what they need to do is just have Madden football, and then each year come out with a new season. You know what I'm saying? So you download Madden football, and then in 2021, if you want to get the updated rosters, just download that season or whatever, and then you can have all the updated rosters and all the updated stuff.
Well, go ahead. I want you.
It's more user friendly, but obviously that's not what the industry is necessarily based on, and they're going to do whatever's going to be making the money. So,
Well,
but
what that is a live service gaming model, and they've been trying to push it for a while because basically this is what happened to Avengers. Because when Avengers came out, it's kind of a mess, and it's really soulless. It doesn't have anything into it. That's because they plan to add things over time.
right,
And then as they add things, it'll eventually become a game that's playable. But this is what you have to worry about with live services is that when they drop that game, it's never going to be worth it when it comes out. It's always going to come out with almost featureless. It's going to come out with bugs. It's going to come out with a whole bunch of crap because they know they're going to improve it over years. And they know you're going to forget about how crappy it came out when a year or two goes in and then it's actually a decent game. And that's the problem with these live services is that the quality of your games are kind of going to be piecemeal to you.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, I can agree. I don't feel like they did that with Fortnite, and I'm not some huge Fortnite advocate. I don't even play it, but
Fortnite's
it wasn't like
free
it was.
though. Fortnite's free. It's
Well,
not a
that
premium
is
game.
that is very true.
Yeah, because
That is very true.
Avengers is a premium game, $60, and they still want to piecemeal crap to you.
Well, and it's the same thing with Madden. But and Call of Duty gets me every time. I know you and Vincent were clowning the hell out of me last week or week and a half ago because I was talking about how I kept deciding I was on a boycott, and I went back and got it. I'm doing it already now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I haven't played Modern Warfare, and I can't tell you how long. I don't even play it. And just only when Austin, Chris, or Tyler, or Adam, or whoever's online, and they're saying, "Hey, come play with us" or whatever. And sometimes I'll go play, but very rarely. But now here I am already getting excited for Cold War, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like, why do I continue to fall for this shit and keep getting excited and keep getting excited? Then I play it for 2 months, and then I'm like, "Yeah, I ain't playing this again."
Because
They get me every time.
they understand what you like. They understand what Call of Duty fans like, and they'll keep putting it out because they want a new. You want a new Call of Duty. Of course, you want a new Call of Duty. If you're a fan of the game, you want another game. And what they'll do is they'll piecemeal that shit, and everybody will get mad. But they know you won't stay mad. They know that given enough time, they can just drop another one, and they can take out even more shit, and you'll buy it again.
Yeah,
But the thing is, Nintendo's doing the same thing with like Zelda and Mario, except they give you a real game when they do it. It's just it's just the thing is, they've kind of conditioned people to keep buying it. And if you didn't get that pre-order, if you didn't pre-order and you waited and you made them earn it, they would change.
yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But where they get people like me at, specifically for games like this. They even got me on Avengers, and of course, I went and switched my pre-order back over to Cyberpunk or whatever. But
Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
go and I'll go and pre-order it. And see, that's why one of the other reasons why I am still so old school with going to GameStop is because I'm able to go just throw $5, $10 down on a game, and I have it pre-ordered now. So
Yeah.
now any betas that come out, I have access to it. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
I was able to play the Avengers beta because I went and pre-ordered it, and it was for 2 weekends. I got to play it, and I decided I didn't want that game, so I switched my pre-order. But uh, pre-orders definitely are cool. It kind of especially for me where it's hard sometimes to justify to the wife, hey, I got to go spend $70 on this video game.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier when I'm able to go spend $10 here, $20 here, and I have it pre-ordered. It's like having a game on layaway.
It's true. And I
Yeah,
think that's a good part about getting
like that.
yeah. I think that's a good part
But
about like getting physical game copies and stuff. That's one of the few things left that's good about it.
yeah, I mean, and plus, like you and I talked about privately the other day, is something like Breath of the Wild. You know, um, I bought that game. I beat it in its entirety. I'm not really the kind of player that's going to go back and play it again, looking for something new or whatever. I've already beat it, so I'm kind of done with it. And don't get me wrong, that's not saying anything negative about Breath of the Wild. It has replayability. It's just me as a person. It's just not what I do. Um, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. But I was done with it. So then I turned around and had my wife throw it on Facebook Marketplace, and we sold it for $45. You know what I mean? So I essentially got to experience Breath of the Wild for $10. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and so like if that was something where I downloaded it digitally, I couldn't sell that to anybody. I couldn't. It's once I'm done with it, it's ruined.
Yeah.
So I like having those physical copies. Plus, there's something to be said to me when you walk into someone's house and you're able to look at their gaming library and tell something about them. You know what I mean? Like,
That's true, but that's what they're counting on, John. That's what they want. That's what the man is here for, man. No, but for real, like I get the physical copy thing and stuff like that. It's more of a nostalgia thing, and also you could sell it and resell it and stuff like that. I just think if you're going to get something from EA, Activision, Ubisoft, wait a month. Wait a
yeah,
month, and that shit will drop in price so hard. Like, that shit will come to you got it for 60 in a month, that's gonna be 30. And you might as well do that because you want to send a message to the companies. You want to send a
right.
message, be like, hey, listen,
Well, and
man, we don't want that crap, dude, and we're not gonna take it. Like
and it also kind of takes away from some of it because I know I'm an Xbox guy, but I'm not blind. I'm not so biased that I can't admit the faults of Xbox. But one of the biggest faults for me for Xbox One is I would go and purchase the game. I had the physical disc. I put it in, and it still takes me just as long to download and install the fucking game, and then install the update than someone who downloads it digitally.
yeah.
And it's kind of like, whatever happened to be able to throw the game in and play it? It's
Well,
just kind of
games have gotten humongous over the years, and honestly, sometimes they can't even contain all that on the disk they put in there and need to like throw some extra. Because once they hit 100 gigs, that's insane. There is no disk that does over 100 gigs.
That's very true too. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how the PlayStation does it because I don't have one. But I
Mm-hmm.
know as far as the Xbox go, it is annoying
Mm-hmm.
um,
Now you still got
getting
to
a
download.
game.
Like some
Oh yeah, you still
games,
got to download it,
you know,
install
like
everything.
well, the thing is, like if you put in the PlayStation disc, it'll be a pretty quick one. It won't be a long one, but it will still have to download some games, like to put a download on the disc as well as the actual hard drive.
I don't know. I'm hoping that that they find a happy medium. My internet's not as good as it could be either, so
That's true.
probably wouldn't be as big as of an issue if I had some fiber in my life.
Oh
But
man, wouldn't we all love
oh, the
that?
other big news, just I kind of forgot to touch it on it, is because it is a Black Ops title, we're going to have zombies back. So um, I'm interested to see how Warzone evolves going forward with Cold War. Um,
They should put
but
zombies in Warzone.
in Warzone, yeah, you have a little spot where the zombies attacking you.
Yeah, that would be dope. That would be dope because then you would have to survive the zombies as well as other people.
Hey, Austin just said that buying physical copies are like unlock codes now. It's legit. It's the truth, though. It really is.
Pretty much. Like sometimes with the Switch, you go up there and they just give you a code instead of an actual thing.
Yeah, Switch is interesting with the online games. I still haven't ventured online
Well,
on Switch yet.
the Switch had that that Direct, and besides the other games they dropped Super Mario 3D World. It's gonna be online. That's gonna be dope because that's 4 player, bro.
Yeah, bro. I mean, Nintendo Switch came out with all kinds of news this week.
Yeah, I was
So
digging it.
not so it's not even just 3D World though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They dropped Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy.
in one game.
Um, yeah, and they're all bringing it. They're all bringing it to for the 35th anniversary or whatever. So it's really cool, like the way they're doing. They're optimizing it to be kind of new. And it's kind of the same old as we were saying before. They're taking games we've already played and just repackaging them and
Yeah.
selling them to you again. But
And the weird thing about that one is that they're only going to have it on sale till March 31st, which is like, I don't get that, Nintendo. It's like, because people want this. You know how bad people want this? They didn't graphically upgrade anything. They literally ported the game over and put it in one game, and people are like, "Give me this now!" And like, and
well,
then
are you sure about that?
what?
That they didn't remaster it?
They upscaled probably what's it called, Mario Galaxy and
So
Mario Sunshine, but
uh,
that is 64 is the
here's
same.
here's what the release says.
Mm.
Super Mario 3D All Stars for Nintendo Switch will include optimized versions of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy in one package.
I mean, it's just
Nintendo promises higher resolutions and an optimized gameplay experience on Switch.
this is what they're telling you. They're going to give you a 4K upscale. Well, that's like if your TV upscales, that's what's going to be because it's like with the Kingdom of Amalur. They just had a re-release and it's supposed to be a remaster, but it still looks like duty because it's not a real remaster. They just upscale it for 4K because check it, you saw it. You saw Mario 64.
Yeah,
You saw
yeah.
it didn't look any different. Like now, like, but the thing is, people still want it. I don't know why they would take it off the store before March 31st, after March 31st.
Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either. What they're trying to do, though, and I guess it does make sense if you think about it. What they're trying to do is the same thing car dealerships do and anybody else does. And they're basically like, for a limited time only,
Yeah,
we have this. So it makes more people feel pressured to go out and get it,
yeah,
which I wouldn't doubt that they're not going to. It's like the fucking McGriddle. You know what I mean? Like, I
exactly.
don't doubt that they're
Fucking
not going to bring
McRib.
it back in some other,
Yeah,
yeah, or the McRib. That's what I meant.
yeah.
The McRib. They're going to come back for it. They're going to bring it back out again because it's selling right or whatever. But it's
It's that
you
plain
know
scarcity. It's kind of like with what's that one game that's coming out? Damn it, I just forgot about it. It's like It's a newer game coming out, and it's this planned scarcity of something that's. Oh yeah, now I know what I was thinking of. It's the PlayStation 5. Remember how how the PlayStation 5 is asking you to sign up to have a chance to pre-order? Like
No,
that kind of
I
shit.
right, right.
It's that like we don't know if there's gonna be enough. You better like sign
So
up to
you're
pre-order.
saying that? So you're saying there's a chance?
Exactly. But that kind of tactic makes you everybody go like, "Oh, I better get on here because there's probably not going to be enough." And that's what Nintendo's doing because it's like, "Oh man, they're going to stop selling it, so I better get it now."
So I'll tell you, just kind of switching gears a little bit, and it's still staying with the Switch because Nintendo came out with all kinds of news this week, and I have a feeling that the next few weeks are going to be just chock full of news. We had PlayStation leaks, Xbox leaks, Nintendo leaks. I mean, I think this is gearing up for the holiday season. Basically, is what's happening, and we're going to start getting all kinds of information. So topics are probably going to be pretty easy to come by in the next few months. But the cool thing that I saw that Nintendo's doing, I think this is unique as hell, and I'll probably end up getting it, is for their 35-year anniversary for Super Mario Brothers, they're coming off with Super Mario 35, and
Hmm.
it's going to be a battle royale game of
Yeah,
the original game with 35 players duking it out online.
yeah, I love
It
that.
that is so dope. That
And it's
sounds
going to
so
be
dope.
on their Game and Watch. They're going to make a Game and Watch just for this.
It's so nuts to me. And so you'll be able to play like a battle royale game with all these different characters, with all these different players.
Yeah.
So it says, let me read the release. It says, rounds of Super Mario Brother 35 will feature 35 people playing through the same Super Mario Brothers levels simultaneously. Enemies that you defeat will show up in other players' courses and vice versa naturally. Power ups will be available to give you a boost, and with the right analog stick, you can choose between four strategies: lowest time, most coins, attackers, and random to try to get
Mm.
an edge.
This sounds
So,
like they took a lot of cues from Tetris 99 because Tetris 99 does that
exactly.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did, and I think it's genius. I mean, that's the kind of game that is typically a one player kind of challenge yourself kind of thing. But they're taking a spin on Super Mario Brothers, and for the 35th anniversary, making it competitive. I think it's genius. I
I
think it's awesome. I'll probably end up getting it.
I mean, isn't it also isn't that supposed to be like a game on Super Mario Maker or something? Like,
Ooh,
is it an
I don't know
add-on to
about that.
that, or is it just on the Game and Watch? I don't know. Either way, I think you might be able to play. Like, it's going to be like a thing everybody can get on, and I think that might be going away on the 31st too, which is also weird.
Oh,
Like,
that would be dumb then. That I
yeah,
that I need to get on that.
I
Well,
still don't really know what Nintendo's up with that, but they are genius when it comes to like reinventing their games.
Well, I'll tell you the other one that kind of caught me off guard was this. Have you seen the thing about when they had the Super Mario 35th anniversary direct or whatever? It's kind of a surprise Nintendo direct, and they talked about Mario Kart Live Home Circuit.
Yeah, that looks so dope, bro. If I was a kid at this time, this would be the golden era, except for, the whole, you know, country being on fire. But other than that, this would be the golden era of toys
Bro,
because
like it's ridiculous. So
mm,
I watched the trailer, and it was saying it was like the official little radio controlled cart for the Nintendo Switch or whatever. And there's a little camera on it that shows that what the cart sees. And the players create courses by lining up various markers, which then creates a digital overlay to race on.
yeah,
Um, so it's in addition, it's you're playing against other physical carts. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's like you're using, like your little RC carts back in the day where they have a camera and it's literally showing up on your Switch because it's augmented reality. And it's like,
yeah. So like
bruh.
if someone hits you with a red shell, the second the cart gets an appropriate animation on the screen, the cart itself physically stops moving for a second.
Yeah, bro, that's so genius, dog. Because like
It
that's
really is, man.
that's like a Christmas banger right there.
It
Like,
really is.
like
I,
that.
I think I would have a hard time like watching the TV screen instead of watching the RC cars. You know what I mean? Like,
You have to get used to it because you're like, you want to look up at the actual car, but you could just look at the screen. I mean, like, dude, I know my nephew is gonna geek on that shit.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome. I think it's definitely. I mean, Nintendo's really kind of trying to get a little bit unique here, man. They're really going to be changing the game.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think
No, I didn't really.
Nintendo has always been like Nintendo is always good at like reinventing their games and thinking of new ways to do the things they've always done. It's just when they like the only problem they have is their peripherals and some of their weird business decisions, like stopping a game at the 31st or something like that, or forcing a
Yeah, yeah.
or forcing a game to only play on one controller type. Like they do that, but other than that, they're kind of geniuses when it comes to actually making fun games.
Well, bro, especially in today's culture, like the fact that they're able to keep all of this kind of stuff under wraps and no leaks happened. Like, I mean, just if you just look about all of the Xbox leaks and all the PlayStation leaks that we've gotten lately, this Nintendo Direct was completely surprised.
Yeah, that is
And
true.
and like they dropped another huge game that me and you talked about on the phone earlier today. They dropped just completely huge name game, and it was just completely on surprise. The Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity.
Yeah.
It was like completely like no one even knew it was coming,
Uh,
and it's set 100 years before Breath of the Wild, and it looks dope as fuck.
And it
Like I,
looks like they used Breath of the Wild animation because the first Hyrule Warriors was more like it was still nice looking, but they're using actual Breath of the Wild animation for this, as well as putting in the Dynasty Warriors system, which is like I actually want to get in on that because usually I'm trying to play it out on Dynasty Warrior clones, but this one looks really dope.
it really does. I mean, it's all your favorite characters you love from the Legend of Zelda series, but for me, the biggest thing for me is like, where did this come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? No one's even talked about it.
Yeah,
And
Nintendo.
I guess with E3 being canceled and COVID and all that, it's kind of easier to keep things under wrap. But today, I mean, think about take any avenue. It doesn't matter if you're talking about politics, video games, basketball, whatever. People leak information, and information is leaked all the time. It's shocking to me that Nintendo was able to drop so much, just like what the fuck news all at once. You know what I mean? It was
That
just
is true
crazy to
because
me.
Nintendo be having leaks too. Like things leak from Nintendo too. But apparently they had some pretty quiet, tight-lipped employees, and plus Nintendo also treats its employees well. For the most part. So you don't get a lot of that. Retaliation leaking that you probably get with a
Yeah.
lot of other companies because let's be real. Sony, Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, Activision. They're not known for being great.
Yeah, well, and where they
Um,
they really get caught is when it's third party developers
yeah,
usually in a drop and stuff or some type of promotion with
exactly.
double XP or whatever, and it ends
Like
up
Monster
dropping on
Energy just starts dropping your shit, and it's like, dude, we're not supposed to do that yet. And they're like,
right.
that's usually what happens when you have these third party. Well, then again, it's kind of their fault because the third party IP had something ready to go, and then you changed your mind, but they already had this ready to go. Like,
Yeah,
and then like it's like, what are we supposed to do?
it's interesting. But speaking of leaks, though, so we'll kind of get into this one first. It's kind of it's not huge news or anything like that, but there was a leak for PlayStation that came out saying that PS5 will not be backward compatible with PS3, PS2, or PS1, only with the PS4. Evidently, this leak came from Ubisoft at some point or another.
Fucking Ubisoft.
Uh,
Like,
they
I
have
think
they have an event coming up.
I hope there's a lot of like I want to see what Beyond Good and Evil 2 at this event, but like for this whole leak about the backwards compatibility, honestly, I think it's Sony's play to resell you all those games from the 3, 2 and 1 era because it's really like they don't like they could probably do it, but they're like, "Hey, we're going to resell you this shit, but we'll let you keep the 4 and 5." Now, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal because let's be real, if you're playing your 3 and 2 games right now, you don't give a shit about the next
The
generation.
PS5,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't care about that. But like if you get in the PS5, you're probably already done with your 3, 2 and 1 games. So, if you still have those copies, you'll probably be a little bit, salty about it, but if not, it's going to be on PS Now. They're just going to throw it on
Well,
PS Now.
I feel like the reason that it kind of raised some eyebrows though is because
Mm.
PlayStation was flirting and basically like talking about making the PS5 backwards compatible
To the one.
throughout.
all the way to the
Right.
one, which is it kind of sounded absurd at first, but as we got closer to it, we saw that it actually was absurd.
Yeah, it's definitely. It looks like they're not gonna. It's not gonna happen for them.
Yeah, now what they're gonna do is they're gonna throw it on PS Now. That's where you're gonna get those games. All those games are gonna be on PS Now, and they're gonna make you get a subscription for them.
Yeah. That's the way that they're gonna start making these monies through these subscriptions. Is what they're gonna do.
Oh yeah, because they see how good the Xbox Game Pass is doing, and all they need to do is tweak it to get it somewhere near that, and they're gonna have it just like it.
Yeah, and they're. I don't doubt that won't happen sooner than later. Really,
Yeah.
especially because the way that Xbox is, coming off with all kinds of different options. We'll touch on that here in just a second. But with Ubisoft, I mean, they're having their event called Ubisoft Forward's coming out on September 10th. So we'll be able to talk about that next podcast.
Oh man,
Kind of see, what Ubisoft has going on.
there
They're.
there are some Ubisoft
I'm,
games I'm looking forward to.
yeah, there are some games that I'm looking forward to. So uh, I'm not sure what we're going to get out of that one, just because I've been jaded with the last few showcases and
Mm, yeah,
showcases and all that. It's been really bull lately. Gamescom was garbage, and Xbox Showcase was garbage, and State of Play was garbage. The Nintendo Direct was the best thing.
yeah.
The best thing that we've had in a while. So
Well, they're gonna have this Ubisoft show coming up. Then there's gonna be a PlayStation show, and I believe someone else is. And then there's gonna be Tokyo Game Show. So hopefully there's a little bit more there. I know COVID is kind of just ripped through the industry, and there's just people they just don't have anything ready. But maybe in Tokyo Game Show we'll see a little bit different.
I hope so. I really. What's the date on the Tokyo Game Show?
It's sometime like in mid September. I'm thinking between the 15th and 19th or something like that. I can't remember the date. I have to look it up, but it's in September. It should be this month, as well as the PlayStation event, and also this Ubisoft event, which I hope Beyond Good and Evil shows up because that game just disappeared.
Well, there's going to be another Xbox Showcase as well in middle of September too. So, like
Yeah.
I said, this next 2 months or so is going to be very telling and very chock full of information for sure. They're going to be putting out all kinds of information for the holiday season for sure.
Yeah, hopefully we get some good trailers and some promising looking games because we're kind of in a mid drought right now where there's not really a lot of games that are big, but there are some games out, but it's only if you like indies.
Yeah, yeah, and there's games that we're looking forward to, obviously, but
Yeah.
um,
Crash
you know,
Bandicoot's coming out this month. I'm looking forward
shout out,
to
shout out to Crash.
that.
Hey, but I'll tell you what, the big news that came out, it was kind of huge. I didn't expect it to come out, but we've been waiting forever for this, for one of these companies, and it hasn't been officially announced. Now, this one thing has been, but the rest of it is not. But Windows Central came out with a leak of the Series X price point and release date.
Hmm.
So they came the way that it came out is that they finally released a trailer. It was leaked, and I think Xbox just went ahead and got ahead of it and went ahead and posted it. But they came out with the Series S um, drop, and which is confusing to me. On a separate note, can't stay on topic here, but it's stupid to me. The naming of the fucking Series X is just dumb. It's stupid. Like how many grandparents are going to be walking into Target trying to buy the new Xbox for their grandchildren, and they're going to be like, "I want the Xbox X," and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, do you mean the Xbox One X? The Xbox?" What I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Xbox Series X, and now you have this whole series of
You know.
X and like I don't even know if they could pick up on my speaker now, but X and S sound so much alike.
Yeah.
You're gonna come out and say, "I want an Xbox Series X or an Xbox Series S." It's like, it's just going to be a mess. I
Yeah.
guarantee people's going to get the wrong
And
one.
it's gonna be
But
so
anyway,
different because, like Austin's saying, there it's an all digital version. The S series. It's not gonna be like as strong as the X, but it's gonna be way more affordable and pretty much there.
oh yeah, it's going to be It's going to be $300. It's going to be two
Yeah,
ninety nine,
that's
and
good.
it's going to be it's going to be all digital. it's funny to me. It looks like I posted a meme on the page earlier today, but it looks like you're driving up to a drive-thru and you're about to give it its your order.
I'm gonna come in your
It looks
house and be
ridiculous.
like, I want two double White Castles with some onion rings.
But they also with that was leaked the Series X, the Big Daddy version. It's going to be $499. So that's right about what we suspected.
Yeah.
Um, there was a little bit of a scare a couple weeks ago where we thought it might be 600, and then some people said, "No, it's going to be 400." So it's kind of right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
I think $500 is about what I expected for both consoles.
Yeah, pretty
So
much. And like
I
Sony
wouldn't
has
be too shocked. Yeah, I wouldn't be too shocked if PlayStation doesn't follow suit and make it $499 as well.
yeah.
Although they may come out with $599. I don't know.
They made like the
Um,
thing is because they're supposed to have a lesser version too. And I believe that system might come down to where like maybe 499 and then their big system maybe like 599. I think they may be
yeah,
100 higher. I don't quote me on that, but I feel like they're smelling their farts and they think they can be 100 higher.
right.
You
I
know.
think so. Now the release date was also released. It's going to be November 10th. Um, which is interesting to me. I thought that it might get pushed back because of COVID and all that. They've been both companies have been sticking to the holiday 2020 timeline,
Hmm.
sticking to it pretty steadfast. But November 10th is a little early by what I thought of. I figured that's 2 weeks before Thanksgiving.
Well, I mean,
So
Christmas is now Thanksgiving, and it'll soon be Halloween as well. So,
yeah, you ain't lying about that, bro. You ain't lying about
so
that.
they're giving you plenty of time to get that in there. I mean, let's be real. Both systems are going to be sold out. Like, don't unless you're pre-ordering, don't think you're going to get one. Like, you're not getting a
Yeah.
PlayStation or an Xbox if you don't pre-order because it's going to
Well,
be
that's
sold
what I
out.
worry about because I was been planning this whole time that I was going to wait until tax time to get mine, but I'm really worried that it's not going to be available at tax time.
Oh, dude, dude, what has happened the last two generations? PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. For the first 2, 3 months, you couldn't find one. And then they started being normal. And the same thing with the PS4 and the Xbox One. You couldn't find one for like the first 2 months. And I just don't think this is
Uh,
gonna be any different.
yeah, I think it's going to be exactly the same, especially because we're
Yeah.
still. I mean, I know a lot of people thinking it's over with, I guess, but we're still smack down in the middle of this pandemic,
Yeah.
and
A lot of
I think
people
it's
ain't got
still affecting things.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have the money either because this is a luxury item. Like both of
Yeah,
them are a luxury item, and a lot of people are gonna be like, I don't know if I have the money to front for a PS4 and Xbox X, PS5 or Xbox X series. So, like that's maybe a reason why PlayStation is trying to vet people and see who's gonna buy this shit and who's not.
yeah, it's very true. Some of these leaks are purposely released,
Yeah.
um, but with the S being the S being as in Sam, being all digital and much cheaper, I think that's probably going to be the most popular one that's released. I mean, we're talking Wii prices. I mean, Switch prices here. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. But
it's pretty impressive to be able to drop it that cheap. But they're releasing on the same day, so who knows? Someone like
true.
myself, I'll be getting the X
See, the Xbox has
myself.
a little bit of a different problem because then not having anything that's going to be Xbox X Series exclusive means that people don't actually have to buy it. They could just get Game Pass and have whatever's going to come out. And that's another thing that they have to fight off. Just like PlayStation has to fight off probably being more expensive because
Well, I think that you think that's something they have to fight off, but in my opinion, that's going to be their strength. So they have. So we were talking about monthly payments and monthly installments, and I told you I would get into it a little bit later. This is kind of what I was waiting on here. Is not only do they have this Game Pass Ultimate that they're doing, which basically pays for your Xbox Gold membership and the Xbox Game Pass. Well, now they also have something called All Access. And it's essentially a financing option, right? So what it will be is that for the Series S, it'll be $25 per month, right? So that $25 a month that you pay is paying off your console, and then it is also paying off your Xbox Live Gold and your Game Pass.
It's pretty
And then
cool.
for the X, the Series X, it's going to be $35 a month for the all access financing option. So, I really think that these financing situations. I mean, my phone company's doing the same thing. That's how they get me every year, getting this upgraded iPhone. Right?
Hmm.
I wouldn't have the new iPhone right now if it wasn't for financing options.
That's true, and I
They
believe
they get
PlayStation,
me with it.
and I think PlayStation is doing the financing options as well. I've heard them thinking of something like financing and paying your way through it because I think they both understand a lot of people aren't going to have the money, so they want to get that in there. But these financing options, but the thing is, in the PlayStation will have the same problem too if they don't have anything specifically for the 5 on launch. Is that if I have an option to not get it right now and my current situation or whatever like that, I'm definitely going to wait if I can still get the games on my current system because that's a lot of money to spend. That's a commitment. That's a lot of money to
Yeah,
spend. And if there's nothing there that specifically I need to buy right now, most likely you're gonna see people being like, I'm gonna wait until that Halo hits, or I'm gonna wait until Ratchet is out, and not
right.
like instead of just picking up right then and there. Because in a normal year, I believe you're right. In a normal year, people would just get it, but this ain't a normal year.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Hold on one second, bro. So I agree. I think what the Xbox has to their advantage is that this whole smart delivery system. So
Hmm.
I don't think that's going to hurt Xbox as much as it will PlayStation because you could buy a Series X and then play games that you own on your One on your Series X immediately. You know what I mean?
Hmm. I
So
got you.
I don't think that's going to affect the PlayStation or the Xbox as much as it is the PlayStation.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like once again, like if I don't have to get it and I can just get the Game Pass and still have it on my current system, like, it's just the thing you have to get over like, well, why do I need that system? I'll just wait until, the real stuff comes out. Yeah, and it's the same thing with the PlayStation, but PlayStation has a few more games they're going to be throwing out at the beginning to kind of entice people. But don't get me wrong, it's still a lot to ask. Like, to be like,
Yeah, it is.
it's a lot to ask to be like, hey, drop that 500 and plus this 60, maybe even $70, like on this game as well, and maybe a controller. It's like $800 purchase.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, and that's the same thing with like the Switch. When my wife was thinking about getting the Switch, she was like, "Okay, cool, we can spend $350 right now to get the Switch for him." But then I'm sitting there like, "Oh, but I need at least one or two games to play,
Hmm.
and I need an extra Joy-Con so if my boys come over, I can whoop their ass and smash." And like, oh, and then it's like ends up 350 becomes 560 or whatever.
Yeah. And it's in a normal year, like I said, it's something that, yeah, because people got money, they got time, they've been waiting for it. But in this kind of year, it's like, there's nothing really out right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and wait, like, and most likely it'll still sell out because they just don't like, they'll probably still sell out, but they'll sell out because they haven't made as many as they thought they were going to make because of COVID.
Yeah,
That's one
yeah,
reason. That's one reason why I think PlayStation is going to come up short when they're not going to have enough systems for the demand because they just got hit by COVID and they didn't make enough.
yeah. It's interesting to me. Um, like when I went to go get Madden, they told me they weren't even doing pre-orders
Really?
because they didn't send enough to go for all the pre-orders. So it's like first come first serve essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they may do something similar with the consoles, but I mean they're going to make a lot of money on those pre-orders.
Yeah. They definitely, because they're probably going to be sold out for the first month or two. But like, I think it's going to do less than they think it is, but it's still going to sell out because, come on, it's worldwide. So let's be
Well,
real.
you have to figure too. I mean, look what people. I don't know. It's a hard nut to crack. You know what I mean? Like, so yes, COVID has affected the gaming industry so negatively, but it's also I mean, think about the Switch sales.
Yeah.
Like, think about how hard it's been for the last 4 months, 5 months to find a freaking Switch anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, COVID has also, and I know, everybody's getting back to work and everything's starting to have a resemblance to normalcy, but people are playing games. They're sitting at home, they're playing games, so they're going to want to buy this stuff if they, especially if that other stimulus check comes.
Hopefully.
I have a feeling if that second stimulus check comes, that's going to be some Series X and PS5 checks,
Man.
is what that's going to be.
Nah, I'll feel you, man. If that comes in, I'm gonna be doing that meme where a little buddy from 300 pre-orders that PS5. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna be looking at Kia, and I'm gonna be like, she's gonna be like, okay. I'm like, all right. Let it be so.
That's hilarious. Well,
Uh,
we're kind of up at the end here. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about here is new study just came out, man, and I thought this was this is pretty breathtaking, really, if you think about it. That there are over 3.1 billion gamers on the planet.
yeah, that's crazy. That's
That
almost half.
that's really almost half of the population. Now, granted, this study did clarify that almost half of those 3 billion were mobile gamers.
True, but they're still gamers. Like,
Yeah, they're still gamers, but it's like I tell my dad. My dad came over and he's playing some, you got to match certain colors. It's like basically Candy Crush, I guess. I don't know what the hell it's called, but
mm-hmm.
and he plays backgammon on his phone constantly. So he's technically a gamer in that situation, but just to think that especially you got to figure out of 7 something billion people on Earth, half of those fucking people are suffering. You know what I'm saying? They're living in filth. You know what I mean? So to think that half, or almost half of the population is some type of gamer is pretty somber, really.
Yeah. It goes to that.
It really shows you. Yeah, it's not this cliche thing that we're doing anymore. It's just
It's
it's
like what
real.
I always said. There's a game for everybody. Everybody has a game. Like, dude, like they used to, back in the day, people in Africa played Moncala, and that was just a game with beads and gourds. And now you can play Moncala on your computer. Like, it's just one of those things that gaming has always been a part of humanity. We've always done it because we needed to pass time, because there was a whole lot of time. So now it's just been more efficient. There's so many more varieties and so many more things to do. I was telling my dad about games that he could play with mom. If you all are bored, there's some games that I think you all would love to play, and stuff like that. And they're video games, but there's one for everybody. So it doesn't surprise me there's 3.1 a billion gamers. Honestly, I think there'd probably be more if we were developed all over the world.
Right. Oh, I know there would be,
Yeah.
and that number is only going to grow.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, check it. With COVID happening like that, the esports and other virtual sporting events have taken over, and they're the things that people watch now because there's no sports, and sports is coming back though. Sports is basketball, football is coming back, but still, during that time, people were looking for virtual NASCAR, virtual basketball, shit like that.
Well, I just hope that half of those 3.1 billion gamers will come on over and follow us at facebook.com/shootupgaming.
1 billion. That's all we need is 1 billion.
I think we'd be made then, right?
We're straight, dude. We could just say $1 subscription for everybody. Just one.
Well, cool, man. That's all I got for today. You have anything else?
No, I think that we hit pretty much everything. Yep, I can't think of anything we missed that would be of any note.
Well, I have a feeling that next week we're going to have a lot of information for everybody too, because I think there's going to be a few different events that's dropping, and hopefully we get a little bit of clarity for the price points and the release dates for the PlayStation, and maybe some official news from Xbox. So that'll definitely be good to go through.
Well, I guess with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it here. Thank you for coming out, everybody in the chat. And thank you for everybody out there in the internet land for listening to us at 2Def. Please follow us at Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and all our other channels like Twitter, Instagram, and just basically keep gaming, guys. But that's going to be us for the night.